Over 2 days, from the night of the 22nd of November into the 23rd of November 1824, a violent storm occurred. It approached from the southwest. The winds were south-southeasterly and hurricane force nearing 100 miles per hour, accompanied by a storm surge associated with low pressure and high waves. The combination of energy was exceptional, with a particular emphasis on the central, south and Dorset coast. There were wide-scale flood impacts from Land's End to Dover, but inland communities did not escape the devastation from the wind damage. This simulation shows us that it was an extreme and rare event, and our calculations based on some of the levels achieved indicate that it has a likelihood of recurrence of 1 in 10,000 each year, which is equivalent to a 0.01% chance of this particular event happening again. The Plymouth breakwater, which was under construction at the time, was smashed, and the storm removed upwards of 200,000 tons of stone, triggering a significant rebuild. 22 vessels were sunk in Plymouth Harbour. Low-lying houses along Sidmouth's esplanade were inundated, and cottages at the exposed west end were destroyed. The 12-metre-high sea stack at Chit Rock was washed away. At Lyme Regis, the storm surge flooded over and damaged the Cobb breakwater. Around 90 metres of the Cobb wall was completely destroyed. Storm waves rode through the gap in the Cobb, and nearby property and the shipyard were destroyed. A surge of 6.5 metres flooded West Bay Harbour at Bridport. Water overwhelmed the quays and extended up the valley of the River Brit towards the town. The sea flooded over Chesil Beach, taking the beach height down by 2 metres along its length. Seawater went over the beach to a depth of 6.9 metres, and a tidal wave travelled rapidly down the Fleet, along the back of the beach, destroying the church at Fleet and the ferryman's cottage at Ferry Bridge. The force of water exiting the Fleet caused the Ferry Bridge crossing point to be widened by 4 times. At Chiswell, the beach was flattened and the settlement was almost completely destroyed. Many people, including sailors, were killed at this location. The pier at the entrance of Weymouth Harbour was demolished by the sea, and the quays were inundated. The esplanade was nearly all demolished. A stone bench was carried over 200 yards, the stone posts and chains were pulled up and entirely broken. Vessels and boats were either driven into the centre of the town, sunk, destroyed, or carried out to sea. At Poole, the water rose to such an astonishing height that it overflowed all the quays. The houses in Strand Street were flooded to a depth of up to 1.5 metres. The storm surge was able to rapidly fill the very large Poole harbour, taking vessels a considerable distance inland and leaving them high and dry. Further east, the storm impacts continued well into the day of the 23rd of November. The ferocity of the winds and storm waves continued to be severely damaging. We can learn so much about our coast and its vulnerability to flooding from history. This event, 200 years ago, left a trail of evidence along the entire south coast, which was strong enough to revisit all these years later. Be flood aware. Be flood prepared. Visit gov.uk. To check your flood risk, sign up for flood warnings. Prepare for flooding.